and hello and welcome to our webinar today. So today's topic in our webinar is about the Spring Release 2023, a special focus on the new functionalities of our CTI data connector for Salesforce. Our presentation today will be recorded as usual, and of course we will share all the slides, the information, and even the recording of this webinar in the follow-up email. So if you have any questions during the presentation, please do not hesitate to type them in the control panel. And at the end of the webinar, we are happy to answer your question in the Q&A session. For today, we have 3 speakers from our side. Myself, my name is Kushin Bresnica. I'm a Senior Customer Success Manager and the contact person for our customers in the after sales step. Among other things, my job is to ensure that our customers can use all the relevant functionalities of the CTI data connector for Salesforce. Then we have on board our great colleague, our Senior Account Executive, Mrs. Annika Seewald, and we have Mr. Simon Rockel. He is the Senior Engineer and Team Lead of the supporter and will present us the technical part in this webinar. Let's start with the agenda for today. So we start with a product overview of what we provide the Salesforce. After that, we present all the new features in the Spring Release 2023. Then we will have a live demonstration of the new features from Now I will give you a short product overview of Mirage products. Over the last weeks, we have developed a lot of new features and also new products. And Mirage offers 2 CTI solutions for Salesforce. The CTI data connector for Salesforce has been around for many years. And since 2021, we are also provide integration in Service Cloud Voice. Service Cloud Voice is the CTI solution from Salesforce focusing on service. You can now select between 2 CTI solutions depending on your requirements and use cases. Both solutions can be extended to the contact center suite. One feature is the ACD, or better to say automatic call distribution for Salesforce, which distributes call based on Salesforce data. For example, you want to distribute the call to the account owner using the phone number. ACD identifies the contact, finds the account, check who is the account owner and if he's available. If yes, the call is distributed to the account owner. Other options are reading all data from account, lead, or contact, for example, the country or the VIP status of if any of these customers have a VIP status. The second feature is the ALAS, audio link and archive service. And for example, the ALAS, after the call is recorded, the audio file is archived and linked to the phone call in Salesforce. Maybe you are thinking about a new telephone system, and this is where we can help you to find the right one. We have integrated more than 100 telephone systems. So the slide only shows some of this integration. For example, the typical on-premise ones. This was fast. So the typical on-premise one, telephone systems like Cisco, Alcatel, or Unify. But of course, also more and more the cloud telephone systems like Enphone, Placent, and Zipgate, and that is our specialty, that we can connect to 95% to all telephone systems. New is the integration in Microsoft Teams, where you can directly connect MS Teams, including synchronization of the present state. Of course, we follow which new phone systems get relevant in the market and integrate them. We are also available if you plan to change your telephone system and can support you with our experience. Now, let's continue with some of our top features. Numerous improvements in the page layout and contact selection have been done for the Power Dialer. Then we have the Live Agent dashboard, which gives us a detailed view of users and colleagues and their live process status information, including the available information about skills, the time zone, location, and a brand new feature is the Live Agent dashboard. In the part of the Live Agent dashboard is the Wallboard. The Wallboard itself provides real-time and historical information about incoming calls, including which users are in Microsoft Teams meeting or call. And last but not least, the Mirage Microsoft Teams connector now supports queues and information about who is logged in the queue. If you are using Microsoft Teams, the Mirage Teams connector is the perfect solution. It directly connects Salesforce and Microsoft Teams without a contact center in between. Before we come to the already mentioned queues in Microsoft Teams, the ability to display the caller's name during a call in Microsoft Teams and also see it in the history list is an important point of functionality in Microsoft Teams. By synchronizing Salesforce contact, which Outlook, the contact information can be updated in Outlook and then displayed or showed in Microsoft Teams. So you can see the caller's name when you received calls, and you can also see the history of the calls in the history list. This makes it easier to communicate and track calls with Microsoft Teams environments. The Mirage Microsoft Teams connector has been further developed to support queues. So the queues are defined in the Microsoft Teams admin setter, but the queues itself is controlled by the Mirage Microsoft Teams bot. For outgoing calls, the agent can select the queue name in the CTI data connector Salesforce. So as you can see here. And another display is the number of logged in user in the queue. This works for incoming and outgoing calls for the queue and calls to the direct extensions. So now we come to another functionality of the CTI data connector named Power Dialer. So the Power Dialer has evolved a lot since its original release. It will be briefly I will briefly summarize the main features. Power Dialer offers a variety of options to further streamline the call process. For example, different campaigns can be created using leads, contacts, and accounts, and increase the efficiency. Thanks to further developments, the Power Dialer enabled a more efficient way to working in sales, in service, and the call center. So agent can concentrate on the call while the Power Dialer optimize the call process and reminds when the next call is due. The page layout has also been optimized to provide a user-friendly and intuitive interface. With these improvements, the Power Dialer is now even better tailored to the requirements of the sales and the call center teams. The Power Dialer reduces manual dialing. So per click per dial, the Power Dialer automatically dials the next numbers from the campaign list and makes a call. So this saves valuable time and increase the productivity of the call centers. So the campaign list provides a very good overview of all calls and how far you have proceeded the calls. And on our website, under the tab Webinars, you will find the matching video of the Power Dialer, where everything is presented in very detailed way. Now we continue with another functionality called the Live Agent Dashboard. So the Live Agent Dashboard has got a lot of improvement since the first release. It provides per agent the present states, including available information about skills, the time zone, the location of the employee. It is automatically updated every 50 seconds. So the Live Agent Dashboard can be used with any phone systems. And a new feature is to show of or to display of information about who is logged in the queue. This is only with the Microsoft Teams Mirage connector, and the Live Agent Dashboard administrator has permissions for additional filter options in the Wallboard. A brand new extension of the Live Agent Dashboard, as I mentioned before, is the Wallboard view. The Wallboard displays a live view of all ongoing calls via landline calls and via Microsoft Teams. Microsoft Teams meetings and Microsoft to Microsoft calls are only available in conjunction with the Microsoft Teams. Active calls are only displayed if the calls is in the present states on a call. Short calls may not be displayed in this view, the live view, it shows in the historical view due the screen refreshed of 50 seconds. The black numbers, as you can see here on the Wallboard, are the live ongoing calls, and the blue numbers are the value or the total number of calls from today. If you use queues with the ring all attendant routing method, one call is displayed per agent depending on how the telephone system sets the presence status for ringing. And now I will hand over to my colleague Simon Rockel, who is already mentioned, present the technical part and explain how to do the configuration of the Live Agent Dashboard, especially the Wallboard has to look like.
Hello from my end as well, and welcome everyone to our spring release webinar. I'm now going to show you a little bit how you can activate the Live Agent Dashboard, how you can configure it, and how you can add it to your navigation bar. So Live Agent Dashboard itself, to activate it, you would first need to navigate to the call center setup, which you can find easily if you open the CTI Data Connector configuration app, which is also installed along with the CTI Data Connector. If you go to the CTI Data Connector configuration app, you will find the tab Mirage Call Center Setups, where all your call centers are displayed, and here you will just choose the one where you want to activate the Live Agent Dashboard for. Most of the times you only have one, but it could also be, of course, that you have many of them for different groups of users or for different departments. Just keep in mind that if you want to activate it, if they have different present state settings, that you activate it for all of them where you want to use it. So you just navigate to the call center setup where you want to activate it. And then here on the right, you will find the sub-object call center present state. In this case, it's called default present state. So here we will go to this call center. Also, if you are not sure which call center setup you want to use, you can always check. If you go to this little related tab here, you can always check, okay, is it the one with the correct users in it? For example, if you want to activate it just for a certain group of users or something like this. Then we will go on the right, we will go to the default present state. And here we have a few important settings to check or to activate if we want to use the Live Agent Dashboard. In this case, the first thing we want to activate is here this first checkbox here in the upper right where it says activate present state. And also we want to check the box active call change present state. This will make sure that the present state is used from the CTI data connector, which is also one of the essentials for the live agent dashboard. So this is important that this activate present state is set and that the active call change present state is set as well. The present state labels, you can always change them, but they are not essential for the live agent dashboard for activating it. The other important settings are here at the bottom, which are this in this little section live agent dashboard. Here we can first set up, okay, if the users can access the dashboard itself and if they can access the wallboard. Also, we can set up here the refresh time of the dashboard itself. So by default, it's set to 15 seconds, but if you say, okay, that's a little bit too high, you can also set it a little bit lower or a little bit higher. What's also interesting here is you can also select what fields should be displayed in the live agent dashboard. So if we go to edit here, I can show it to you as well. So here at the bottom as well, we can here select different fields we want to display. So if, for example, we see by default it's not chosen, okay, that the profile picture is shown, the username, first, last name, the present state. So here we have all the different fields which we want to display as columns in our live agent dashboard. And of course, if you, for example, if you say, okay, we are not using skills or we are not using queues, then you can always remove them here, or you can also add more information as well. Also, if you have set up skills in your Salesforce org, it's also possible to display those skills in the live agent dashboard, which has the big advantage that you always have an overview. Okay, do we have any people available, any users available who have a certain skill, for example, who speaks French or who are proficient in a certain product of yours. So this is always interesting if you have those set up in Salesforce, that you can also display them in the live agent dashboard here as well. All in all, that's everything you need to set up if you want to use the live agent dashboard in the Wallboard. We also have two additional steps we have here. With the latest version, we also added a new field on the user level where you can set, okay, if a user is an admin for the live agent dashboard. And this can easily be set in the object manager. So first you would need to add it to the task page layout, and then you can set it as well. So let's switch to the Salesforce setup. And here especially we will switch to and here especially we will switch to the object manager. In the object manager, like I said, we would first need to have to add the new field to the user page layout. This means we will search for user here in the object manager and go to the default user object from Salesforce. Here on the user object, you will find the user page layouts on the left. Here it could be that you have multiple layouts as well. I will now just go for the first one. And here it is already added. So if it's already added, you can leave it like this, but most likely you will have to just drag and drop it from up here on those little elements bar. You can just drag and drop it down here and then select on the user level, okay, is this user live agent dashboard administrator or is the user not one? And then you can just go to the user, so you can find the users. That's just the default screen from Salesforce. You would go to the setup, back to the setup administration users, and there you will be able to add to check this box or uncheck it. I just need to check which name I have. So where do we have it? Mason Peter. And here we would just have this additional information down here, live agent dashboard administrator. So for my user, it's already set. The other thing would be, so you can always open the Live Agent dashboard if you just search for it in your app. So for example, if I search for Live Agent dashboard here, or in the app launcher, you always have the possibility to open it like this. So here you would also always find it as an item. But yeah, for convenience, it's a lot better to add it to the navigation bar of the app where you want to use it. And for that, we can do this in the App Manager from Salesforce. So back in the Salesforce setup itself, we can just search for App Manager. Go to the app where we want to add it. So for example, you want to add it to your Lightning Sales app. So here it is most likely already added, but I can show you how you can do it. You would just go to the app, go to navigation items on the left. And here you have the possibility on the left side to just search for it. So here it is not added already. So you would just search for the Live Agent dashboard on the left, highlight it, click on the little arrow to the right to add it as well. And this means that we also have it now in our navigation bar in our Lightning Sales app. I can also show it to you if we now switch back to the Sales app. We will have it here as the last item here. You can also change the order of the items, of course. So for example, if you want to put it further up, you can also do this here, or you can edit it directly here via this personalize your navigation bar button. Okay. And with this, I will hand back over to my colleague who will now show you how you can use the dashboard, how it's looking, how you can work with it, and give a little bit of insight for it. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Simon. Then I would start to share my screen. Just a second. Okay, and you should see my screen at the moment. I am in the overview of the Live Agent status dashboard. Just to keep a couple of words about the new fields that we added into the Live Agent dashboard. I'm here with my alias Alisa Smart. This is my present state, and I would like to start with an outgoing call just to show up how it's showing up in the dashboard. Just a second. I take the call on my mobile phone, and we can see in the Live Agent dashboard that I am using as a queue for the outgoing call, not my own direct extension. I'm using the sales queue. So this is a specific queue where I want to make an outbound call, as well as I see the information of the caller. Of course, these are features that we build in. And yeah, regarding the queue, I can choose to say which number I want to use to make outbound calls. The logged queue, this next section, is about from which queues I am able to get and receive calls. So that I am able to get from the English and German speaking queue calls. And when we now take a look to the Wallboard, we can see two active landline calls. The black number is always showing up which kind of number or call is at the moment active. And the blue number in below is the number of the total calls that you have on this single day. So it's always focusing what's happening at the moment in this day. Then we have the amount of the inbound and outbound calls. So we received or we made 7 outbound calls in total, but at the moment we have 1 outbound call inactive, and the same goes to inbound. We have in total 5 received inbound calls and 1 is active. And then we have the average talk time. The average talk time that we see in black is the amount of, or the average time that you are using in the calls at the moment. And the blue one is the amount of the average talk time from the complete day. Then we do have different overviews about the queues. So we do have separated two queues. We have one direct call, it's the inbound call, because we see here the inbound call is light blue, and the outbound call is a darker blue, and this is happening from the sales main number. I would later on show it also in in CTI how you can change really convenient as a user the outgoing number. Then we have the queues for today. So every kind of call that we made today separated into the queues. So we have inbound calls. These are always direct calls, and in total 5 of them. And then we have an outbound call where we called out as the main number, and then in the English queue we did have 5. Present state shows my own team, so this team which is connected with the call center setup. We do have one user at the moment available, one is away, one is on do not disturb, and 2 are on a call. Just to have a quick overview who is at the moment in which kind of state is available. So far, so good about our Wallboard. It was a quick look into it. If you have any kind of questions, please do not hesitate to type them directly in the control panel. We will happily answer them in the Q&A session. Okay. How can change the queue itself? So I would now end the call and just show the drop down that you would see here. I think also Virgil mentioned, I don't know if someone already know the feature regarding the call wrap-up time. I just see it here. You are able to just click on the clock and you can prolong your call wrap-up time, just as a side note. Okay, so we do have here a drop down with the different numbers that I could configure to say, maybe I do have a lot of different queues for different purposes, and it's mandatory to dial out with these kind of numbers. Then you could just type them on the CTI, so it's available as a drop-down from CTI. You do not need to switch in a telephone system, and you can just change to say, okay, maybe I just need now to dial out with the English queue, or I want to dial out with my direct extension or with my main number. Okay, that was quickly regarding our live dashboards and our wallboards. Yeah, and I think at the moment I could hand over to Kustrim. He will take over, and I'm ready with my presentation. Okay.
Thank you, Annika. Maybe so. I need again the permission for presenting my screen. So I hope now you can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Now we continue. So as I mentioned before, with a poll that we prepared for today, and the question for today is: are you interested in live agent dashboard or in wallboards? So we will have 30 seconds to start, and I will start the poll for this question. maybe I have not the permission yet. Okay, I think now the poll is started. Thank you. So the poll is now ended, and I will continue with the topic, what is coming next. So in the future, it will be possible to receive notification via the power dialer. So the notification informs you when the next call is due. So this will be one of the features in the future between the power dialer functionalities. After that, we will have that the Wallboard will show the ring time also. So this means another information during the calls. And the Wallboard gets an options to get a detailed view on a parameter. For example, if you click on the ring time, after that you can see all the agent with calls in ring status. And we will have Microsoft Teams as a contact center will be possible with the new CC for All integration. So that's some of the new features in the future. Now we come to an equally important point, namely the update installation. So 2 installations per year and priority support as well as support via web meeting are including in our premium support. It is a charge depending on the number of licenses. So just contact us to get a quote for that. And yes, our free webinars give you an overview of the most important new features. So in addition to that, we offer a one-to-one free review meeting where we can discuss how to use the CTI data connector today and what can be optimized. Typically, it is time consuming if the Salesforce administrator reads about the new features and how to configure them. It is much easier and more time efficient to do the installation and the training with the system administrator. So typically required installation time. So for that, we need for the power dialer setup, including training, can be done by our technical support team within 2 hours. The same is for the live agent dashboard, and the Wallboard setup can also be done in 2 hours. And last but not least are the upcoming webinars from our side. So on the June 20, we will hold a webinar for the Sales Cloud Voice, as I mentioned in the beginning of this webinar. So the CTI integration is very different from the CTI data connector. The omnichannel is the primary control for the calls. So the call itself is not saved as an activity, but the call record. And we will deep dive into Mirage connector for Sales Cloud Voice at this webinar. So if you are interested in more webinars from our side, you also can register on our website, www.mirage-systems.com, and watch more webinars from us under the webinars and videos tab. So then we continue with our Q&A session. So use the opportunity for the question about our products. And as I can see, some of the questions are in, and I will read the first question. And the first question is, which phone systems support the queue information in the live agent dashboard? Maybe this is a question for you, Annika.
Yes, I can answer that with joy. So at the moment, we are supporting for the incoming calls to show up from which queue the customer is calling in with the Mirage Teams connector the CC for Teams, so the contact center solution with Microsoft Teams, and the connection with 3CX. So 3 telephone system integrations supports this feature for outgoing calls. So if I want to choose my outgoing queue, this is at the moment only possible with CC for All, so the contact center solution with Teams, and the direct Teams connection, the Mirage Teams connector.
Thank you very much, Annika. And we will continue with another question. And the second question is, can I do a bulk import into the power dialer? Maybe this is a question that can answer by Simon.
Yep, sure. So we have different ways to do a bulk import into the power dialer of the CTI data connector. So for one, we have the possibility for to add a single record to a call campaign of the power dialer by just opening the record. So for example, the lead or the contact or the account, and add it to the power dialer itself or to the campaign. The other way would be if you have, for example, directly a list. So you have a list of all new leads or something like this, or all leads who are active at the moment. Then you can, of course, open this list, mark all of the entries by the with the default functionality, then just use the button Add to Call Campaign. So here those buttons are already predefined by us and can be added via the object manager to the page layout, and there you can directly add, for example, a whole list you already have. And we also have the possibility to, for example, automatically import a number of records. So there we also have the possibility. Yep. So so you can directly import them into the power dialer campaign object. So that would be the most advanced possibility if you want to do a bulk import every night or every week or something like this. So that's also possible and is also described in our documentation.
Thank you very much, Simon. So now we are very close at the end, and there are still some other questions. This and other you can also, of course, send us by email, and please do not hesitate to contact us for more infos. So yes, this was our Spring Release webinar 2023. Thank you everyone for your time and for attending to this webinar. So in this case, have a great day, and thank you very much for joining.